Hello, and thank you again for joining me today on today's episode of the Happy PharmD podcast. My name is Chris Bakley, and I'll be your host. In today's episode, we speak with a pharmacist who keeps herself very busy, not only being a pharmacist full-time, but also a musician and pharmacy career coach. Super excited today about this interview, and very pleased to welcome today's pharmacist, Ms. Artun.
Hi.
Thank you so much for joining us today. Yeah, so just want to jump right into it. So for everyone listening, just kind of do a brief bio about yourself, where you're originally from, and where you currently are, and also where you started with, where you went to school, and then where you started your career, and where you got to now.
Oh boy. I have a lot to tell you then. I have a very colorful background, but
Take your
uh,
time. Take your time.
yeah. So I'm originally from Turkey, Ankara, and I went to school in Turkey, Ankara University, and after finishing my pharmacy degree, I did my master's and I studied pharmacogenomics. And after that, I worked as a pharmacist. I established a hospital pharmacy department. I worked in pharma. And then during that time, I also started to do my PhD with the push of my mentors. Actually, they thought that I'm too smart, so I should be in academia because they really wanted me to become a doctor. And then I did my PhD in biotechnology, but again, with the focus on pharmacogenomics. I studied psychiatric pharmacogenomics, major depression mostly. And after that, I moved to Boston and then I had to start all over again. So that's the breaking point for me. And I wasn't planning to move to States, to be honest, because I actually came to the United States to do my PhD and I decided to go back to home because I was thinking that no, I'm going to just visit the States as a tourist. I'm not going to live there. But then I met with my partner and he was living in Boston. So we decided that we're going to try to live in Boston. And after that, actually, Chris, it was very overwhelming because when I moved here, I was already an established professional with a PhD. I had to start all over in here because I didn't have my pharmacist license in here. In the beginning, I didn't have working authorization because I was still in my visa status was not letting me to work. And so I took it slowly and I had to find my way in a new country, in a new cultural environment. And I passed foreign pharmacist exams and I passed like 4 exams and then I completed my internship. And after that, I got my license. But again, during that time, I was working as a musician, which is another like a story of mine, like my life. And I had to make some living, so I was making money from music and then also teaching. I was teaching science, and then I was teaching biochemistry and chemistry. And so I had like all sorts of diverse experiences in
Yep.
my career. After getting my license, I started to work as a pharmacist in Dana-Farber as a research pharmacist. And then during that time, I think I started questioning what I really want to do in my life. And I really enjoy mentoring and helping people to find their places in life. And I got introduced with this coach in me during that time. And I think we kind of find those moments during the very stressful times in our lives. And then I started to explore what I can do as a coach. And then I transitioned to another job. Currently, I'm working as a clinical pharmacy coordinator in a home infusion pharmacy company, and I am working as a career coach in Happy PharmD, and I'm a singer songwriter, guitarist, and guitar instructor. Actually, I have a student. So these are all the things that I'm trying to make it happen. But finally, I think I feel like I kind of transitioned smoothly from being in Turkey to the States, and these last couple of years, I started to feel like I'm in home again.
No, and how long ago did you move to the States?
2013, so 7 years. Yeah, I've been
Okay.
here 7 years.
And you stayed in Boston the whole time.
Yeah, we were thinking to move to New York, but somehow things were happening in Boston, and we just decided, okay, let's just give it a try. Because the reason that I wanted to move to New York was I have really close friends and my aunts in New York, and I was looking for like some sort of like family connection because when I moved here, I didn't have anyone from my family, and my all of my friends were in Turkey, and I
Hmm.
really had really good friendships in Turkey, and I didn't even want to have new friends in here for a couple of years. I was like, no, I don't want to be friends with anyone. but, but I think after I started to feel like this place is becoming my home, then I started to become um, started to have friendships and like more deep relationships in the States. Yeah.
That's awesome. No, Boston's one of my favorite cities that I've been to. I would say on the
Really?
East Coast. So yeah, I really like going there. So whenever I have a chance, mainly in the spring or summer would be better. But it's still a really cool city. So
Not the
I'm
winter.
very jealous. Not the winter. No, I'm from New York, as you may already know. So I've had enough winter in my life, so I'm good. But yeah, I'll go there in the spring or summertime for sure. But yeah. So and when you after you started practicing for a while, how did you decide that you wanted to start coaching and helping other people?
So coaching was not a new thing for me because when I was in Turkey, I was already getting mentored by people, professionals, and also I was attending to self improvement trainings. I was out there for like I was searching actually something for myself for my own self improvement, and I was like reading heavily reading getting trainings, all sorts of trainings, spiritual trainings, and like career related trainings, health wellness related trainings, and but I never thought that I would like to do it as a career. And even though I was like, there were like some trainings that I was attending as an assistant coach, and um, my last year in Turkey, I worked as a translator in a self-development institute, and I was actually welcoming the coaches coming all around the world, and I was just kind of translating their work to the group. So I was like heavily involved in it,
Yeah.
and I never thought that I would like to do it because I was just, oh, already have too many things. I already have music and like pharmacy. How am I going to do it? But then there was this moment I was invited as an inspirational speaker at Berkeley College of Music to a classroom of like very intelligent, very heavily creative group of students, and I was talking about my life and different aspects of my life, and then at that moment, the interaction between the students and I were so special. I felt something at that moment. I asked myself if I would like to do something about it, like if I would like to help people to find their like again their inspirations, their meaning, their purpose in life, especially the young people. And then I remember that moment, Chris, it's very clear in my mind. I was walking to my car and I said, no, not now, I'm not ready, maybe in a couple of years. Then in 1 year actually I started to like feel more close to coaching, and then I started to look for like trainings and in this country so I could like become a certified coach and so I could help people.
Gotcha. No, that's awesome. And so how long have you been coaching for? So once you decided to do it?
Well, officially, yes. So, um, I would say in the heart, let's say at the end of 2019, but
Okay.
officially, I started February 2020. But
Okay.
with Happy Farm D, I just started. It has been a month, maybe or two, that I started work with Happy Farm D.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and it sounds like you obviously take it very personally and very seriously. And for anyone out there who is kind of maybe ambivalent or on the fence to asking for help or to possibly seeking out coaching, could be pharmacists or other medical professional or just in general, or musician, right?
Mhm.
How are you seeing that transition with your clients when they go from going for it, asking for the help, starting with a coach, and then going through the process and making that transition. How from beginning to end? How are you seeing that?
So I think the biggest realization is people after coaching with me, people realize that actually they are the helper they are the decision maker. They are the people who are responsible of their actions and everything. It's just I am the support person. And this is for everyone in life. We are in charge of our lives. We have our choices, and we have our actions. And so in the beginning, people are thinking that I'm going to help them, like in a way, maybe to tell them what to decide or what to do. But mentoring, that's kind of mentoring or being an advisor. But coaching is totally different. Coaching is kind of reflecting and mirroring the strength that they already have. But somehow, I think during the life, which everyone is very busy, we're always distracted by life, So we kind of lose the connection with the strength in us, and then we kind of become dependent to so many things around us. We become dependent to people, we become dependent to conditions, jobs, and anything. But when you kind of give a pause, and if someone, a coach, reminds you that, hey, no, you have the strength, you know it, you already have that inner wisdom. All you need to do is just give a pause and then kind of put all the things on the table in front of you, and then look at your options and you look at your possibilities, and then decide and take action for your own life. That's how it works. Like, even today I received an email from a client, and she's kind of describing the before and after. And she's, even though I'm like, we're career coaching, but still now she sees this in a bigger picture. She's not just seeing this as like, I'm going to find the next best job in my life. She's seeing it like, this is a transition that I'm having. Now I see everything with a different perspective. So I think that's how it happens with my sessions.
No, I 100% agree. And actually, one of my current coaches or clients, they're realizing that it's not something to rush to get it to it, just to switch or transition right out of an unhappy role, that you're currently in, but to figure out what exactly will make you happy, and to go through the steps and the transition and the process to actually determine what will truly make me happy. And a lot of times, like you said, you already know their strengths, and it comes down to sometimes confidence and realizing, we're our own worst enemy sometimes, and we can talk ourselves down and be, as pharmacists, we you don't want everything to be perfect. But I feel like a lot of times you're just stuck in your own little box, and the answer is right outside of it. You just might not realizing that you kind of already know the answer, but kind of need that additional person just to provide those options and really help you reflect on yourself, and then you'll make those steps and transitions, which is a really cool process to watch. So
Yeah, it is
it
actually
is, right?
very meaningful, and I really feel fulfilled a lot. Like every time I'm done with a session, I feel like uplifted and my energy switches. Even when I speak about my coaching with other people, I start to smile and my whole energy is changing. And everyone's like, oh, you love coaching. And yes, that's how I know that this is something that I'm meant to do.
Yeah, yeah. And do you when you talk to other people about it, do a lot of people I feel like now coaching is becoming a much more recognized, and
Mhm,
I don't want to say accepted, but I feel like, even, 5 years ago, it wasn't a very common thing to think of for pharmacists,
mhm,
especially, for business coaches. Yeah, I feel like that's been around for a long time, but I feel like even when I was in school, I never heard of a pharmacy coach or anything
mhm.
like that. So, and when I tell people about it, they're like, "Oh, that's a thing." I feel like, but also a lot of people are, very open to the idea, which is a very cool thing. Because I feel like it's hard for pharmacists to ask for help. Hard for a lot of people, hard for in general. A lot of people, it's hard for a lot of people to ask for help.
I think it's
And
for healthcare professionals. I
yeah,
think
yeah,
we have this thing that I recently wrote an article. I just didn't publish it. It's just, even when we are sick, we have like illness, we want to self-diagnose ourselves and we want to find a cure by ourselves without like asking anyone's help. It's the same with doctors, nurses. I mean, that's my observation with pharmacists for sure. So that's why asking help and asking coaching is a big step. And every time when I have a new client, I really celebrate that moment first, because I know that making that first leap is the hardest step. After that, it's like a flow, and they definitely get something from our coaching. It Our hope is, yes, them to find their, like, dream job, and it will come eventually. It's just every person has their own timelines. For some people it might be in 3 months, for some people it might be in a week, for some people it might be in a couple of years. It's
Yeah.
like it's dependent on each person's, again, efforts and energy, but still making that first step, like giving that first decision, like, just I'm going to do this for myself, and I'm going to ask professionals help, is very important, and that's a moment of celebration. And I usually do that with my clients.
Yes, no, I agree. I mean, you're right though. It's not. It's especially getting over that hurdle of just accepting that you want someone else to look in with you and give you a second pair of eyes,
Mhm.
per se, and also to help you create those new habits that were never maybe. I mean, it's a lot of these things aren't taught to us in school, right, or in general. And I feel like you kind of have to create these new habits and kind of start thinking more positively and being increasing your confidence and just in general, and accepting others helps and their information and making that transition is it's a very cool thing. So
Yeah.
yes, and then so also as you've been coaching, so now you said you're also a coordinator. Is that correct?
Yeah, clinical pharmacy coordinators. It's kind of, I call it as the science person of the pharmacy department, because
Okay.
that's what you usually do. Like, you answer the clinical questions coming from. We have a team of pharmacists all around the country. We have, like, I think 33 pharmacies all around the country. So, and I am heavily involved in trainings, and also, so there's this thing called letter of medical necessity. Whenever you kind of submit authorization, sometimes payers are denying those, so you need to kind of prove them scientifically that actually the patient need that medication. So
Gotcha.
you're
Okay.
sending those letters to so mainly, again, it's like the science liaison of the company, but also supporting the team, but also supporting the clinicians outside, and just making that connection with the
Gotcha. Got it. And how did you get into that kind of role?
So because I have a PhD, I always felt like, I mean, even when I was in Turkey, and I don't want to say something wrong, but I wasn't interested in to be a dispensing pharmacist. So when I got my offer in Dana-Farber as a research pharmacist, the reason that here's the thing, let me explain. So I was looking something related to research or science from the beginning. Even when I moved to the States, I never looked into, like, just pharmacist jobs, because I felt like I wouldn't be a good fit. So I was either looking for, like, research pharmacy jobs, or like something related to science and pharmacy. And after working in Dana-Farber, I felt like I need more, like, to be able to use my background, also to have the autonomy and to kind of support people, and switch from day to day, like, routine, to more project based, like, routine. That's what I like, actually. That's why I started to look for jobs, and then I found this one. It's in Cabo Fusion, and our office is in Lexington. Is kind of also close to our house, which is really,
That's very yeah.
it's really important, believe it or not. And then I thought that it will be a good opportunity for me to, again, use my, like, teaching presentation backgrounds, because those were the skills that I wasn't able to use in my previous work. So, and I really like corporate environment more than hospital environment, which I worked in Turkey too. As I said, I was a director of pharmacy in a hospital. So it's a different setting totally, like, and it's really, what I have clients who are hospital pharmacists, and I understand, and empathize with their situation, because being in patient care is really hard, and it requires all types of support from everyone. Like, it's just
Yes,
that you are
absolutely.
dedicating yourself for, like, people who are in need of your help. But so that's why I decided that, okay, um maybe I should look for something else that I could, like, still do patient care, but I can use more of my background. So that's why I gave that decision. It wasn't an easy one, though. Chris.
No, I hear. Well, I mean, I'm glad you brought that up because I have, with clients, that's a big question I ask is when you're trying to figure out what they want to do, right? In terms of wherever they are currently, retail, hospital, you name it, or research, academia. Um, a lot of times you're like, how much is patient interaction? How important is that to you? Like, what type of pharmacy are you truly looking for? Because for a lot of people, it's a hard no, to not have patient interaction. They like a lot of people need that. They really
Mhm.
want that, and other people they're like, oh, I don't think I would mind. I don't think I'd miss it. And sometimes you want to, nice in the middle, right? A little bit patient interaction, but not complete patient interaction. So it's a huge. I feel like that's a really big deciding factor on which direction you go,
Yeah,
especially compared to where if you've already had years of experience in one of these focuses. It's some people are like they want the complete opposite, and that's always not the best answer. Like because you have to really think about it. Like what would truly make you happy instead of just a quick band-aid fix. Like that's a there's a lot of things to answer, but that is funny that comes up a lot.
yeah, and also in my current job now, we're establishing the student program. That was a big factor for me to decide to like work in here, because I enjoy working with students. I already told you that, and
Yeah.
I have also experience in academia. So I thought that okay, I can here's this place that I can use all these different aspects of my career, and I can bundle them and just
Yeah.
use it. So that's why I decided to transition to this position.
It sounds like it's a perfect fusion, a little bit of everything that fits you perfect. So,
Yeah,
and then you get even more of the teaching aspect with coaching and with the music that you're also providing lessons. I think you said for
yeah.
for
I have a guitar student. Actually, I don't enjoy teaching guitar at all.
is that your first instrument or is that what's the
Uh,
first instrument that you started with or your main instrument?
it's guitar, electric guitar, and I tried to play classical guitar, but it didn't work for me because I was heavily involved in rock
More into
music.
the rock, yeah. Okay,
So, but then, actually, I would say my instrument is like my lyrics. Maybe I am a songwriter first. I always define myself as a composer songwriter, and I use guitar for my writing because that was the only instrument that I could afford with my allowances. And I kind of bought my guitar without. I just hid it from my parents and everyone because my parents were not very supportive, to be honest.
you hid the guitar.
Yeah, it's like I hid my life of like my music life from my parents for a
Oh,
couple
okay.
of
I
years.
was gonna say, where would you practice then? Because I mean, it's a
I
very
was,
loud instrument. Oh, I guess
I was
unless you don't have the amp, but
I wasn't living with them, so I was able to get my first guitar when I started to go to pharmacy school. Actually, I started late. Uh, Even though I had a big interest in music and during high school, I was not kind of allowed to.
gotcha.
My parents were kind of very controlling, and I love them. I forgive them for that, but still, I had to fought for my music. I gave a big fight for my music in Turkey as a woman and as a person who was raised by a conservative family. They are not like my father is a surgeon. His biggest dream was for me to become a surgeon, and he actually he took me to one of his OR dates, and I just gowned and I got prepared, and I was in the like surgery room with him, and he was like operating, and I was seeing everything, and then I was very much interested. I was in high school. I was very much interested. I didn't pass out, and I was like, what is this? What is that? And then I think he believed that I am the one, so he could leave his legacy to me. And after that, it's just my life went out of control. So he forced me to become a doctor. But then, even though I was interested in it, I didn't have the deep interest in the health sciences, to be honest. But I said, okay, so I'm going to be a pharmacist, and maybe I can make that one work for me. And it was not easy in the beginning, but after I did my PhD, like while I was working in pharmacogenomics, it was very much fun for me. So that was the moment that I felt like, okay, I found my place in this field. But my what is the right word to say? Like, just I didn't pick pharmacy or healthcare like it was picked by me. That's why I had to hide my musician life from them, because they were like heavily, they were just hoping that I would become like academician and a scientist, and it's just
Hmm.
they
Hmm.
wanted me to be successful in that role, not in music. So I started with guitar, and I started to write songs, and I had my first band. It was just we were just playing my originals, and then I got my first songwriting award at the time, and I was actually not. It wasn't easy for me to share my songs with people, but when I received that recognition, then I started to write more, and then I had this life like as a singer songwriter, guitar player, and then a pharmacist on the other side, trying to keep each away from each other. So it was kind of a big challenge for me.
Well, I feel like but that's also a really awesome way to, keep your work life balance, stable, and to not go, 100% on just one part of your life. It's really nice to have a way to express yourself, differently than just work, right?
It is
It's
interesting
a
though.
good escape for you, I'm sure.
Yeah, but it's like it wasn't easy, Chris. Everyone thinks that I just said it. Okay, I'm gonna do both, and then it's gonna be. Actually, no, it was very tough to make that decision and find this answer. Actually, not the decision, because I tried to quit pharmacy, and I just played music for, I think it was for a year and a half. I was just a rock guitarist and playing with my bands all around the country, and I just making money from music, because I said, okay, I'm just gonna quit pharmacy. And then it didn't work for me, because I think I already became something then more than a musician. And then I tried to quit music also.
One extreme to the next. Okay.
And I was miserable. Like I was so unhappy. All I was doing was dreaming about myself playing and performing, writing. I was like I was like a ghost. And it's just every time I was just dreaming myself in other places, not I wasn't present at all. So I realized that, okay, so it means that I have to find a way to make them both. Or so that's how I decided to have this, like, Dr. Artun Miss Height type of, like,
That's a good way to word it. I like that.
yeah.
Well, I feel like it kind of makes me think of, in terms of just other pharmacists or medical professionals, and what our true aim is, right? To help people find, not only a happy pharmacy career, but also that work-life balance that everyone's,
Mhm.
in search of, and how important it is, especially with, burnout currently, and just in
Mhm.
general everything going on in our field. Now that it sounds like you've found it, even though you're very busy. It sounds like you've kind of found that good balance, and like, how do you, when you have clients and just in general, how do you feel compared to before, when you kind of were still discovering that and going from full musician to, full pharmacist, to now a little bit of both, and also the coaching? How do you feel, like, how has your life changed when you've kind of found that balance, and how do you try to explain that to your clients?
That's such a good question, and I have been receiving this question more recently, and I think I'm going to create something about this. Like, I need to speak with Alex. Because I feel like I'm kind of setting an example for people, and people are kind of trying to learn my, like, mysterious, like, portion of, like, how you find this balance. Um, you know, I think the most important thing is, in this case, to know that you cannot let go of any part. Like, I tried to give up music, and it didn't work for me. So I said that, okay, I need to figure out, like, and I'm not gonna let go of my music. And I tried to quit pharmacy science. I don't call it just pharmacy anything, like, because of the PhD. Again, I could
Mhm.
just relate to any scientific career. And it wasn't working for me either, because I think I had specific needs that I'm getting from each. And that's why I started to work on my time management skills. And I am very much organized, and I always kind of check in with my goals and try to allocate times for each. Sometimes one part is getting more attention, and it's okay. But when you have the basic skills established, for example, as a musician now, I have the like basic skills of singing and guitar playing and drums. I love playing drums too. So it's just when you spend like kind of a condensed heavy time on something, and when you kind of create that basic skill set level, and then it's the key is kind of to keep doing it, not letting it fade away from you, but you don't have to like focus on that heavily. It's just kind of separating your life into sections. And it's not easy again, but it's just coming to the realization that I don't want to let go of my music. I don't want to let go of my science. I don't want to let go of my coaching. So I need to find a way. But maybe in time it will be too like I don't know. It's currently it's working for me this way, but also this is something that I heard from a career coach, and it really hit me when I heard from her. She said that in our lives we always have different priorities. For example, our priority can be our family, our kids, or I don't know, it's just our self fulfillment or money. Again, being close to home, decreasing the commute time or location, being close to family. I don't know. So I feel like picking the right career is not always like finding the meaning. It's always also kind of making things happen for you, and then you can always transition from one place to another. But just giving yourself that time to make that thing that is most important for you more present in your life. That's what I'm trying to say. If you want to spend more time with your family, so you can definitely take a part-time job, and you could definitely use that like that time for your family, and just if it's the most important thing for you, no one would judge you. But if you want to be the I don't know the director of pharmacy, and you just want to devote your 78 80 hours to just get that career, it's okay to go for it too. So it's like these are all about like what is most important for you and what is working for you, and just finding that answer, internal answer.
Yeah, and not trying to forget about what is really important for you, and just
Yeah,
focusing on one thing. It's yeah, I hear
and
you.
things may change in time, like again, like our priorities are always changing. There's always a dynamic. So so it's okay to change mind and to switch, and to decide that you're not going to like focus on your I don't know your family, which would be I don't think that will ever happen. But or maybe you don't want to focus on your pharmacy career heavily. You just want to focus on your other projects like music or your own business, your side hustle, right? So then you may want to look for other like career options or jobs that can give you that freedom, so you can work on your other things as well.
No, no, yeah, no, I couldn't agree more. And as we try to wrap up here, for anyone out there who is contemplating getting a coach, or definitely know they're not happy with their current situation and or their balance, and they want to make a change. What are some words of advice or encouragement for anyone who kind of is maybe a little bit on the fence, but maybe thinking that coaching might be right for them, but they're still not 100% sure?
No, yeah. So I think so. Here's the thing: making a move always is better than not making any move. So with coaching, you know that we have this 7 days of trial time. You can try, and if it's not working for you, you can just like decide to work with another person, or like you can decide that no, coaching is not working for me. But I would definitely encourage them at least to try. And I have benefited from coaching, mentoring during my whole career, starting from my like student years, and still I still have like mentors, and all of the coaches have their coaches too because they believe in what they're doing. So that's why I definitely encourage them if they're in need of like finding more clarity in their lives. So they definitely it means that they definitely need a professional's help to help them to find that clarity faster, because it takes too much time sometimes with those questions. You always wonder, like, what am I going to do? Where's my place in life? So these are like sometimes really heavy questions, and it may take years. But when you have the right support, you can reach to that answer quicker, and then you'll save that time, and you can use that for your dreams and, like, your
No,
goals.
it's so true. It's so true. And I can see you're getting so excited now
Yeah.
just thinking about it, right? But no, I couldn't agree more as well. It's just I feel like I truly believe in coaching, and I feel like myself having coaching in the past, it really does help. It makes a huge difference, and sometimes you just need that, again, second pair of eyes or just another person to help guide you through it. And usually, you're right, it does help expedite the course of that path, for sure. But no, I want to thank you so much for being on the podcast today. It was wonderful. I had a great time talking with you. Thank you so much.
Thanks for inviting me. See you
And
later.
also, I just wanted to throw out there really quick, if anyone does want to get in contact with you or check out your music or coaching and everything like that, how can they reach out to you?
So currently, I'm actually heavily with my band Neotolia. It's Neotolia, neotolia.com. So they can definitely find my music there. And I am very present on LinkedIn, Naz and Artun. They can reach out from LinkedIn as well. So
Awesome.
I will be happy to answer their questions if they have any.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you again for joining me today on this episode of the Happy Farm D podcast. I hope you took a lot of valuable information in regarding how we really reflected on our individual belief on, the importance of career coaching for pharmacists. And that being said, for any kind of professionals, medical professionals, or in general, just how beneficial coaching can truly be, just to help you look outside of your internal box and really do a deep dive and self-reflection to determine what it is that will truly make you happy and to reach that ultimate goal of that true work-life balance flexibility. Please feel free to reach out to any of us here at the Happy Farm D. We're more than willing to help in any way possible, and also just to discuss ideas and just try to help you on a better path, career-wise and just personally. Thank you so much again for listening to today's episode. Please reach out with any questions. Look forward to speaking with you next time. Thank you.